This is the anemometer and Windvane, made many years ago by Trade Winds Instruments. It's a high quality system. Professionals use these. People used them on boats and yachts and what have you. And this is complete with the anemometer and the Windvane indicator. The anemometer revolving generates electricity which goes down to the wire and into this instrument, and the electricity it generates is enough to move the meter. The back of this is fairly simple, just two connections where you hook the wire coming from the revolving anemometer. Now this one is the Windvane. Its job is simpler. It indicates the wind direction, and that shows up on this little screen here. Sadly, there's a little, right up in here, a little crack in the glass there. It's not actually glass, it's a plastic. But it does work, as I'll show you in a bit here. So, as I said, this one has a simpler function, wind direction, but to hook it up, well, look at that, 6 connections. Luckily, everything is color-coded. And you just screw those onto there, and it's ready to go. And you also screw on the 2 wires from the power supply. They hook up down here. So not only do we have the Windvane and the wind velocity meter and those bits of hardware and the cable, we also have the paperwork. Look at that Windvane. Way back when, $70 they charged for that. The anemometer went for $60. The dual mast. That was $4.95. We have the instructions here. These are really very fragile. The paper's all torn up. This one has been taped. And they're really fairly simple to use. There's some more paperwork here. Duplicates of some of those sales pieces, I guess you'd call them. And little pieces on some other things they had for sale. I think you could get a rain gauge to go with this too. So it is a nice little set. It does work. I tested it out today. The first thing I tested out was the Windvane. Got it all hooked up, and it didn't work. Well, the Windvane wasn't working. It turned out to be the power supply. It uses a little 12-volt power supply, and I found one around the house that I could replace it with. I have air coming from my compressor, and I have the meter hooked up right here. So let's see what happens when we put a little bit of air on the anemometer cups. You can, and let's see, can I do this one-handed? Can I do it? Yep. Anyway, if you have both hands, you can lift this thing out, and you'll do that to synchronize the Windvane. This gap right here, when you get the Windvane mounted, this points to north. So when you have that north, that means your meters will be calibrated.